we are doing another pack with me because I'm going to Japan. And I'm going to Japan by myself, which I bet none of you guys expected except if you saw the title of this video. But yes, I'm going on my first solo trip in a long time. I thought I'd take you guys along while I get myself ready. I've got my suitcase, got some clothes over here. We're gonna pack it together. And I'm also gonna chat through some of my personal tips and experiences traveling alone in the past. I will say this is my first trip out of the continent. So I've only ever traveled within Canada, and in the States, I'm living in Canada. I have been to Japan before, but I went there with my family the last time. So it's very exciting, and I'm gonna share with you all the things I've researched so far. And of course, once I'm actually there, I will be vlogging the trip, but this is the first step. Let's talk about how I'm packing and how I'm bringing everything with me. So if you've watched my other pack with me's before, I will put them on screen. I have followed this method for almost every trip that I've taken. I have not checked in any luggage in a really long time because it just makes your life so much easier. Also, my entire trip is gonna be 9 days. 2 of those days are going to be travel days, plus there is a time zone difference to take into account. And the rest of the time I am gonna be staying in Tokyo, so I'm not moving around that much. I would have loved to go to like Kyoto is on the top of my list, but it didn't really make sense for how long my trip was, and I wanted to make the most out of my time instead of going back and forth in the train to the different cities. I'm going to be using the Monos Carry-On Pro in this desert taupe color. She's very much beaten up, but I just found that this is such a good size, and I haven't had any issues with airlines. On all the airlines that I've been on, it fits as a standard carry-on. On top of that, I'm going to be using this Lululemon backpack. I actually don't know if they carry this exact backpack anymore, but I really liked the size of it, and it fits underneath the seat in front of me, so it can be considered a personal item. And I know some of you guys might be like, why are you not bringing more space? I have a solution for that. Some people that travel to Japan or places that shopping is like a big thing will often actually buy a suitcase to bring back with them because you can literally just ship it as an extra item. I do have this, which I'm gonna explain. This is a folding duffel bag. She's very lightweight and very compact. This is going to become my carry-on bag on the way home, and then I will check in my suitcase. I just don't want to be bothered to wait at the airport for my suitcase to come out. I don't want any chance of something happening when I'm by myself in another country. So I'd rather just have it with me, and I can carry this right off the plane. So this is my plan of action. I'm gonna go with 2 bags and come back with 3, but I also don't need to buy a new suitcase when I'm there. This is also gonna help keep me in check with not buying too much stuff. Also, I just want to say that I am not an expert packer. I used to be a chronic overpacker, and I had never used carry-on only up until last year basically. I've had people tell me that I packed way too much clothes, and you know what? If you can fit it into your suitcase and the suitcase closes, that's a win. So that's my approach on packing carry-on. Getting into the list itself, first I have a couple tank tops, so I'm gonna bring just like a standard white and black tank top. I'm gonna bring a couple t-shirts as well. These are my little button-ups, nice for layering. For bottoms, I've got these beige linen pants. I haven't ironed or steamed them yet, but I will definitely do that before I go. I've got a pair of these Uniqlo shorts, biker shorts from Aritzia, these Lululemon leggings. I'll probably wear these onto the plane. I also got a couple dresses as well. I got this from the brand Twick from Simon's, but this is super cute. And then I'm also just gonna bring this plain black t-shirt dress. I am gonna bring one jacket, and it's just a lightweight kind of athletic style, bomber style jacket. I do encourage you to check the weather before you go. I've been keeping a close eye on things. For my bag situation, I am gonna be bringing this Lululemon belt bag. I have other belt bags that I also like. One of them I'm undecided about, but this one is 2 liters, which I find is just the sweet spot in terms of how much stuff I can put into it. I also am undecided between these 2 because I want something that's lighter to match the fit, you know? Also worth mentioning that I'm bringing this bag. So this just folds right up. I don't plan on using this throughout my trip because it's quite big. But what I am gonna be bringing is this little guy. You guys have probably seen this for traveling. It is a day pack, so it expands into this. The reason that people bring day packs is you might not want to have to empty your entire backpack if you're already packing it with stuff, and then you can just take this at your destination for whatever trips you're doing throughout the day. I will put links if I can find them for the things that I got in the description if you guys want to check them out. The only things that I haven't talked about are tech and toiletries and other miscellaneous items, but we are gonna pack the stuff here and see how it's looking before I get into some of my top tips for people that are traveling by themselves. I want to take a few minutes to talk a little bit about traveling alone and my experiences, tips, learnings. I am not the most adventurous traveler, to be quite honest, so this is relevant to how I like to travel and things that I feel comfortable with. But I think that's one of the things when it comes to solo travel is it's very easy to see what other people are doing and how other people decide to go about their trip, and at the end of the day you can do whatever you want. I will say when it comes to going on a trip, one of the things that I would suggest, not mandatory but a suggestion, is maybe try to do something locally that's by yourself if you haven't explored that before. Because at the end of the day, if you do go for the trip by yourself and you haven't really spent much time like even going out to eat by yourself or going to a movie by yourself, it might be a lot at one time. So just keep that in mind. So next, I do have some other tips and things that I wrote. General safety considerations. Obviously, I'm trying to like sit properly, but I just keep getting uncomfy. First recommendation is to share your itinerary with people at home. So whether that's your friends, your family, just so that somebody else knows where you were planning to be. Knock on wood, anything happens, at least there's someone else that knows what you're doing. Another tip is just to be aware of your surroundings. This is very important no matter where you are, but especially when you're in a surrounding that you're not as familiar with. That means if you're going to a crowded place, keeping track of where your bags are, where your belongings are, not leaving your belongings unattended. If you're gonna be drinking or eating something, generally don't just like leave it unattended either. If you are gonna go out at night or something, which I have done before, be mindful of that. And in some areas, it's probably not a good idea, but if you do make that decision, just be very cautious of where you are, who's around you. Another suggestion is I personally don't love to advertise my soloness. It's gonna be apparent when you are going to certain places that you're not with anyone else. And I think it is nice if you meet other travelers that are traveling by themselves to have conversations, but I just wouldn't typically go volunteer that information unless I actually feel like I've had a good connection with someone and things like that. You can always say that you're meeting up with a friend. You could say that you're visiting friends, stuff like that. Another tip, which I would say is relevant even if you're not by yourself, but especially important if you're alone, is to research the areas that you should and should not be in. This can really help prevent you wandering into areas that just don't feel safe. Also, you guys will see this in my vlogs when I'm on the trip, but I generally do enjoy touristy spots, and that's just a personal thing, like even if I was traveling with someone else. But to put it into perspective, if you're going somewhere alone, the thing with touristy places is that yes, it will be busier, but the benefit to that is you know that there's gonna be people around. Generally, there's security that's not too far away, that type of thing. So for safety reasons as well, I think it can be beneficial to stick to more touristy, well-known spots. Other general tips for solo traveling. Okay, one is don't be shy to take photos. even if you're by yourself. I would say that's also the benefit of being in a touristy spot, is because everyone's taking photos. So if you want to get a photo and you're by yourself, just look for other people that are also tourists and use your better judgment and see if you can trust them with your phone and then get them to take a photo of you. Another thing I would say is to do some research of general cultural nuances. That will just help you be better prepared when you get there. The second to last suggestion is to know what type of traveler you are and do what feels right for you. I know people also love staying in hostels because you get to meet more travelers and have more connections that way. Personally, I wasn't interested in doing that, but also some people love to do group activities and want to use solo travel as a way to meet other like-minded solo travelers. And there's nothing wrong with any of the, any way to go about it. I just think that when you do make your trip and you plan things out, do what feels right for you and cater to that. I have heard people say when they've gone solo traveling that they wish they'd met more people, and there are definitely ways to go do that. So maybe just think about, if you expect that's gonna happen, what are some ways that you can meet more people safely while you're there. I also am only going for a week. Probably could have stretched it, but a lot of different factors. It was what made sense for me, and I think that's the most important part. Like, I have heard people say that's such a short trip. To each their own. So do what feels right for you. And the last thing is embrace it. Traveling is so incredible. Obviously, doing things with people that you love and care for is also amazing. But if you're able to take the trip and things line up that you're going by yourself, embrace that you can do whatever you want. You can take as long as you want at any point to do whatever, to take photos, to eat slow, to walk slow. You can walk fast. You can change up the plans at any given moment. And there's just a lot of freedom, I think, that comes with it. And just level set those expectations. Like, your trip is not necessarily going to look like what another person's solo adventure, solo soul searching trip look like. It could literally just be going to a bunch of touristy spots and having fun, because that's what I'm gonna do. So those are my general thoughts. If you guys have done a solo trip, you have any other suggestions or tips, leave them in the comments. I would love to hear them for my next trip around. Next, I have a few things that I just want to mention if anyone else is going to Japan. I've been knee deep in Japan content. My entire feed and all my algorithms are just Japan, Japan, Japan. And I have no complaints, but I've learned a lot and I'm excited to put these tips to practice. Some of the things I did experience when I went there years ago, but other things I think are just things like to consider if you're also planning a trip. One is bringing cash. I need to get some cash that I ordered. I am doing 20,000 yen. 20,000 yen is a little less than $200 Canadian. I've heard that people say you should always bring more, but my idea is I'm planning to use mostly my credit card and then using yen for places that don't take card. I've heard Japan is becoming more and more cashless, but they very much do have restaurants and smaller stores that only accept cash. If you're planning to use cash primarily, then obviously bring more than 20,000 yen. I do plan to get some more if I need it. What I've heard is that 7-Eleven ATMs have the best exchange rate. I will verify that soon. Another thing that I've been trying to do is learn some very basic Japanese. The last time that I was in Japan, it was my family and I, and none of us spoke any Japanese. Like, we literally just said konnichiwa and that was about it. There are certain words that I wanted to learn this time, like saying thank you and please, asking where the toilet is. Honestly, you can get by without it because we did last time, and there's Google Translate on your phone. Also, I have gotten my Japanese apps and cards set up. So the first card is Suica. Suica is the primary transportation card in Tokyo, which is where I'll be. I found out that you can actually get it loaded onto your phone. When I'm there, I already have 6,000 yen, which is about $60. I'm hoping that lasts a while. You can basically load it from your phone. You can tap it just like you would Apple Pay or contactless payment. If you don't want to do that, you can of course get a physical Suica card. I got one last time I was there that was physical, but I just think because I don't want to have to wait when I'm getting off of the plane to get that all set up that I'm good to go with having it on my phone. And it's easy to reload as well in case I don't want to go to a machine. I can just pay for it with my phone. Big brain energy. I'm very, very proud of that. Another one is Go Taxi. I don't have this yet, but I'm going to download it. I think this is one of their most popular apps to get a taxi reservation. They do have Uber as well, but it's just, you know, your choice between a taxi or an Uber. Most of the time I will be taking transit, but in case I'm somewhere that I don't want to take transit, I can at least have it on my phone already. Another thing is having some sort of internet service or some sort of connection. I am not going to keep my current plan because the traveling fee is ridiculous. What I am going to do is have my eSIM. So this is not sponsored, but I do use AirAllo, if that's how you pronounce it. And I've used them for the last few trips in various countries, and it's always been pretty good. I would suggest to get it downloaded and get it ready before you leave the country. I think I have a referral link if you want to support a girl. The other option is to get one of those portable Wi-Fis. We got that the last time we were in Tokyo. You can get them at the airport, I'm pretty sure. It worked fine, but just for like one person, I think it's easier to just get an eSIM. When we were traveling as a family, it was good because everyone could sync up to it, but I don't need that for my trip. Another big tip is booking things in advance. Because of how much tourism there is, a lot of the big attractions get booked far in advance. In fact, I really goofed on some of it, and this is my advice to you. I'll put on screen some of the main attractions that people typically book in advance for. You don't need to, but some of them have time slots associated with it, and if you want to see like the sunset, then you want to obviously make sure that you book it for that time. I forgot about that. On the other hand, I will say that one of the things I'd recommend from my experience as well is to leave time to explore. There were so many streets, little areas, neighborhoods that you could literally just get lost for hours wandering around in. If you're into shopping, there are tons and tons of stores. Also different areas that are known for different things, like if you're into anime or if you're looking for luxury goods. Leave time for walking around as well. I'm really excited just also because I have no one else that's looking to go into different places as me. I can literally focus on my own interests only when I'm shopping. That's all the things that I've kind of thought of for now. If I have anything else, I'll mention it later in this video. But I'm gonna go to the bank and grab that cash that I need. When I come back, I'm gonna show you guys the rest of the stuff I'm packing in terms of tech and toiletries. Let's get on to the other stuff that I'm bringing with me. We're gonna do this kind of quickly. First, let's talk about toiletries and liquids. I feel like I've really mastered the art of packing liquids in carry-on. This is a bag. I got a pack of these. I used to just use a regular Ziploc bag as long as it's 1 quart size, and that works fine, but I found that sometimes the bag would just get a little bit beat up. For necessities, I do have contact solution, miniature toothpaste. Some products I actually don't use that much of, and there are products like this Tatcha skin cream, which comes in a container that is travel size. The problem is the container itself is pretty big. There's so much extra space that it's taking up, whereas these little guys, I can just take out a little tiny bit of product. I would say this is plenty for me to use over the course of 1 week. This is my little itty bitty cleanser, my shampoo, and then this is my face cream. Just try to make this take up as little of space as possible. This one is my conditioner. I think I'm gonna add more to it. A Cosmetics foundation, CC cream, which has SPF, my leave-in conditioner, a miniature glow recipe serum. This is a travel size perfume. Also my concealer, Laneige lip balm. And lastly, I have a brow gel, a lash glue, and an eyeliner. And there you have it. For other beauty products slash toiletries, I just have my little makeup bag, and then this little makeup bag or makeup brush bag. It stores all my brushes, eyelashes, blush, brow powder, bronzer. I do have one eyeshadow palette. I'm bringing a couple tweezers for lashes. This beauty mirror, which has lights. I generally like to bring these miniature individual makeup wipes. I know the packaging is excessive, but I just find it takes up less space, and that's basically it. So my liquids and then my makeup and toiletry type of products. Moving on, let's talk about tech. I've got several things over here. First off, I have a problem, okay? I feel like I want to bring everything with me. I just don't want to be there and then think like I wish I had a piece of equipment, but I also don't think it's necessary to have absolutely everything. In terms of my camera, I have the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I do have the creator combo, so it comes with like everything. I thought for a second I might just bring this camera, but we have since changed our minds. I'm gonna bring the camera that I'm using right now as well, which is the Sony a6700. I don't want to be there and think I wish I had this camera. So I'm probably gonna bring both, but this is kind of like what I'm gonna use if I'm on the go or like doing a trip that I don't want to bring that much with me for the day or something. The third camera I'm gonna bring is the Insta360 X4. I did a whole video about this. It's a 360 camera. I can use this paired with the selfie stick that I'm gonna bring, and it's gonna show me basically as if someone else is recording me because the selfie stick is invisible. I feel like this is a no-brainer, especially because I'm gonna be by myself. Next and lastly, I'm gonna be bringing my Canon G7X Mark II. I have enjoyed using this for photos. This is gonna be basically like my point and shoot photography camera. Honestly, none of this stuff is that huge, so even these two, like, they're pretty small. I'm gonna put all this in my backpack. I definitely don't absolutely need every single thing, but I am gonna bring what I want because I can. I'm gonna bring this tripod, which is the one that I use with the camera that I'm currently filming with. This is not really tech, but I am gonna change out my phone case. I always like to use this when I'm traveling because it has a card holder. This is kind of all over the place. I do apologize. I have my hard drive and micro SD adapter for all my chargers. If you've seen my other pack with me's, I bring this all the time, but this is a little organizer that I use to separate the cords that I'm bringing. I have the wall adapter, and then I can also fit my little tripod and charger here. And you guys saw this already for a second, but this is my Kindle, and I am gonna bring this for some reading on the plane. For my headphones, I just usually bring my AirPods. Few more things, just like miscellaneous things to consider. I saw in the forecast, not the week that I'm there, but the week before, it was raining in Japan. I do feel like sometimes because it's quite humid there, it's easy to suddenly rain out of nowhere. So I got this really cute miniature umbrella. It's so small and I can just fit it into my purse really easily. I have my regular glasses for my vision, and I also have sunglasses. So I like to bring a couple options for sunglasses, and they fit nice and easily into this little pouch. All right, I'm gonna put everything into my bag now. I did show this briefly, but this is gonna be a hat that I bring. You can't go wrong with the black hat. Usually I just clip this to my backpack. There might be a couple things here and there, but overall this has been a very non-chaotic pack with me, and it's very shocking. So I hope you guys enjoyed coming along. Make sure to subscribe if you guys want to check out the vlogs from my trip in Tokyo. I can't wait to share more with you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Also, definitely can't forget the most important thing, which is the passport.